Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 22, and your numbers were just recently sent out. That is your macros, as always, your heart rate values, your heart rate, the interval numbers, etc. Nothing changed or nothing should have changed for the majority of you, with the exception of your heart rate value. So take a look at your specifically your higher heart rate value. So take a look at that. It did jump up a fair amount. One thing I want to talk about today, before I get to just something I want to address just quickly here, is I had a message from somebody and they mentioned about an injury. And of course, injuries they're really discouraging. I understand this 100%. But coming from somebody who has, I would say, rigorously trained with weights for a good 30 years. The great thing about weight training, we're not talking about a sport here, right? We're talking about weight training. There is so much you can do, and there are so many workarounds. I can tell you right now that I have had, I don't know how many injuries. I don't know how many times I've injured my shoulder, my knee, whether it was from sports or not, during the period that I was doing weight training. But I was still always able to lift weights. I wasn't able to do everything, but there is such a huge array of things that you can do. There's so many workarounds. This is a great thing about being in a gym, is that there's so many workarounds for injuries. So I want to just give you background. I hope this person doesn't mind. I didn't get their permission, but I'm not saying who they are. But somebody injured their knee. And so just to give you a background here, what can we do? Well, putting leg training aside for the moment, you can still train upper body. And we do have 2 of the 3 workouts per week, right? We got 3 days of workouts that we keep going through. So yes, we have classes 6 days a week, but we run through, right, an A, B, and a C workout is what I'm talking about. 2 of those are upper body workouts. So you can still come and do those. And when it comes to your lower body workouts, depending on the severity of your injury, in this case, this person just got a swollen knee. I don't know exactly what's happened to it. I suspect what's happened to it, but I don't know for sure. There's a lot that we can still do in terms of exercises. Now they're going to be less intense, but they're still going to be effective, and they are going to help with the recovery of the knee. Probably the worst thing you can do, even post-surgery. This is something that is, well, it's not really new, but something that you may think is probably not intuitive to use. Even post-surgery, we want to get the affected joint moving as fast as possible. We still want to keep moving as much as we can. That's not to say we want to prolong the injury or make it worse. No, in fact, we want to try to make it better as much as possible. We want to be able to do as much as we can without negatively impacting the injury. So keep that in mind. So with this person, still can do the upper body workouts. I'm going to give them specifically some leg things that they can try to do on their own or do them in class when they come in for the leg training. In addition to this, no intervals, but we can still do some cardio. So on the bike, and I wouldn't suggest this if you've got a super swollen knee and you couldn't really bend your leg. In this case, this person can still bend at the knee. What we want to do is we want to just minimize the amount of flexion in the knee. So that means raising the seat on the bike as high as we can. So at the top of the pedal revolution, we have as little knee bend as possible. We want to minimize the amount of flexion or bend at the knee, because this is obviously going to be the most painful part with a swollen knee. So we do that. So we minimize the amount of flexion, right? We're going to go, the most bend in the knee is going to be at the top of the pedal, right? So we want to give as much space as we can. So we want to higher the seat as much as possible while still being able to do full revolutions, obviously. We don't want the seat too high. And we want to avoid the intervals, because we don't want to do anything where we're doing like massive force production, right? We just want to do something that's a little bit easier and while we still get the heart rate up, just not going super, super hard, but perhaps going for a longer duration, okay? So this person's still gonna do upper body workouts. I'm gonna give them some lower body stuff to do, because chances are they can still do hamstring, They can do a lot of hip stuff, and they could probably do some partial, they probably still do some partial squatting type movements, okay? Maybe not an actual squat, but something similar to that. Basically, we can think of knee and hip flexion, okay? That's what squatting is, knee and hip flexion. All right, anyways, I just want to tell you that because I don't want you to get discouraged, because I'm telling you, through your journey, and hopefully you'll continue after this hopefully you'll stay with us and you'll do weights. But hopefully, regardless, you'll keep doing weights, whether it's with us or not. You will encounter at some point some sort of injury, whether it's to your back, probably, okay? Maybe you won't, but I'm just, eventually something's going to happen at some point, not necessarily in the gym. To your back, to your knee, maybe to your ankle, to your elbow, to your shoulder, whatever. Something's going to happen. That's not a reason for you to stop. It's not. All right? Through all my injuries, and I know I'm not here to compare myself, I'm just saying, through all my injuries that I've had, I've kept going. Even just a couple months ago, some people probably remember this, I couldn't move my arm. So I hurt my left shoulder to the point where I swear to you, I could not lift it past this. So obviously there's stuff I couldn't do. Like a lot of upper body stuff I couldn't do. Still came in and trained legs. I couldn't hold a bar like this, but I figured out a way to hold a bar on my back using straps. There was a whole host of other exercises I could do for legs. There was some upper body stuff I could do. And, luckily my shoulder, my recovery was really fast. It was a couple weeks and I was able to start doing upper body light and a lot of movements I couldn't do. Anyways, my point is always, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And with weight training, like I said, it's not like a sport. It's not like, you hurt your knee bad. And it's like, yeah, it just, we can work around it playing hockey. Like, I'm just using hockey as an example here. You can't really play the sport anymore, right? But with weight training in the gym, there's so much stuff we can do. All right, I'm already at 7 minutes. That really took me 7 minutes to go through. Okay, well, I guess I'll get to the message of the day. Because I don't want to start talking about this because I don't have enough time. So, message of the day on this day 22. You know what? I don't want to say this one because I want to leave it for maybe the next time. Let's go with this one. Behind every successful, this is one of my favorites, by the way. Behind every successful person, there are a lot of unsuccessful years. That's right. Behind every successful person, there are a lot of unsuccessful years. So you might perhaps have a picture of somebody who has maybe a physique that you want, let's just say. Behind that physique is a lot of ups and downs, probably some injuries, and probably a lot of mistakes, and a lot of times where they didn't believe in themselves, and a lot of times where they thought perhaps they couldn't look like that, or whatever it is. I'm just using this as an example. The end product doesn't necessarily reflect the process, right? That's the point. What does reflect the end product is an ever persistent effort. That's what represents the end product. Remember that, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. More on energy. I want to touch on some topics that I just didn't, I don't think, really explain that well. So we'll revisit that tomorrow, okay? See you guys.